Fuck me. Artefactors Union, the Nightmare Whiskey Golem, the model I'm probably gonna have to do 2 videos on the first. This is a much more complicated version of the regular Whiskey Golem, and while you can buy that one at your friendly local game store, this is almost exclusively for price support from Weird, but there's a lot of them out there, so it's not that hard to get your hands on one. As daunting as the sprue looks, it isn't that difficult, just a lot of work and just being a little careful. Like usual, we'll start with completing the body, and then we'll work on the limbs, and we'll end with the right arm, which is easily the most complicated. Before we clip out and combine these 2 pieces, we've got to remember to get this one. Alright, this is the front half of the main body. You're going to look at it like this, then flip it, and right there's where we're going to put that little bit I just showed you. Gonna look like that. Gonna fit flush in that corner. Now I'll just glue the 2 halves together, and you can see our little bit dangling out the bottom. Next, we're going to fill in all these holes, starting with the top big barrel. This here is going to go in the right side of it, and this is going to go in the left side. So right side is the thinner tooth, and the big bump, and the left side is flat with the thicker tooth. Now again, we're looking at the front of the model, turn them this way, and add in the bit with the bump in the middle. This is the right side. Okay, now we're looking at the left side, and to show you how to make sure it sets in correctly, we're looking at where the tooth is supposed to go, and to get it to go in correctly, you just set the tooth at the spot, and then you fold it close. I'm going to need to stare at it closer, but that's how you do it. There, nice and flat. For the bottom barrels, we are going to grab this piece, and that's going to cover up the right, and this piece is going to cover up the left. There's still a weird tooth thing you need to align, but it's a lot easier since you can just reference the angle of this video. But here's the right and the left. For the holes on top, the one with the spoon is on the right, and the one with these dots is on the left. And this is what it looks like. For this one on the left, we're going to grab some mugs to hang on this hook, and then these 2 holes are for 2 gremlin legs. Here is half of the mugs and one of the legs, and the other half and the other leg. Here are the mugs. I recommend just popping it on first, seeing how you want it to set, and then gluing it afterwards. And here are the legs. They will be pointed towards the back, and the easiest way to determine right from left is just look at the arches. Well, there'll have to be 2 other parts at least, so look forward to that. Artefactors Union, Nightmare Whiskey Golem Part 2. In this one we're going to work on the head, the gremlin riding the head, the hammock in the back, and the legs if we can get to them. So for the head, we've got part of the head and neck here, the other part here, this is the face, this is the top of the head, and this is the nose. Combined head and neck. Add the face, check the top, see that tooth, that'll tell you where the top is supposed to go, like so. And the nose. Now attach it to the body. Now for a gremlin friend riding on top, this is his body. The head is going to be this one, it's got the flat top for his hat. And his head is going to be this one, the more rectangular of the 2. Body. Head. I forgot his arm, didn't I? The right arm is up here. It's going to be this one. There we go. We want that on before we do the hat, because the hat actually connects to the shoulder. This little dot specifically. Hat time. Correction, the arm should actually be lower. It will glue right there. There's a notch on the leg. There we go. Now for putting on the head, you can see the connection point on the butt right here. That butt connection point will stick them to the cushion back there. But also, you see where the hand is? There's like a connection point on the top of the head that you can see. But with those 2, he sits pretty solidly. 2's the back. The hammock in the back is this right here. The guy in the hammock, this is his head. These are his 2 feet. And his arm dangling is this one up here. Here's the added hammock. Word of caution, you now need to be making sure you're not accidentally putting pressure on these little bits, because they will snap off. Just be careful. Head. There's the left foot. There is a little hole down there for the heel. There's the right foot. Yeah, there's a little track for it to sit. You just gotta nudge it in place with a knife. And the arm. Onto the legs. The thigh covers are going to be these 2 pieces. The right side will have 2 bands and the left side will have 1. There's the right leg cover and the left thigh cover. Our shins are going to be these 2 pieces. This one is the right, this is the left, and you can make sure of that by just looking at the connection point. rectangle, rectangle. Glue with this hole facing forward. Cylinder, cylinder, hole facing forward. For the shin barrels, it's going to be the same as the thighs. The one over here will have 2 bands, and the one over here will have 1 band. Here are our bits. This is the right, and also the right. This triple X will be facing forward and standing upright, and these two are the left. Glue them to the shin individually, and the second bit will glue to the shin and the other barrel. Oh, and in both cases, this band will be at the top. Oh, and in both cases, the bits with this sort of teeth right here are on the back. Stay tuned for part 3. Artefactors Union, Nightmare Whiskey Golem Part 3. This is as far as we've gotten. Now we're going to go and build the crotch goblin, I guess is what you can call him, and then the left arm, and work on the right arm. If we're lucky, we might be done. Let's start with the body, and add the upper torso. There we go. Left arm. Sorry, that's the right arm. Here's the left arm. There's the left arm. The head is this one with the big old hole in the mouth. There's the head. I used the back of the neck as sort of the reference for where it's supposed to sit. Hat. Hat. You know, I completely forgot about this guy's feet. Right foot. Left foot. Right foot. Left foot. View from the back. And if y'all remember this dangly bit from the first video, that's where the boy we just assembled goes. I went ahead and popped him off because I gotta ship this model. I'm just afraid that if I bend the little guy, he's gonna snap that off, so we're just not going to risk it. Left arm, I'm gonna start with this guy and jam him into the sock. Looks like this. This one goes on top of it. There we are. Go ahead and check the supports underneath to make sure that it's facing the right direction. Next, we're grabbing these 2 barrel halves that don't have any rope on them. Also remember that this right here is a cork, don't clip it off. Go ahead and combine them. This guy has a notch for that aforementioned cork. There we go. The 2 ends of the barrel are here and here. And they have slightly different sized gaps here, which will correspond to different teeth on the barrel. See this tooth? It's slightly thinner and longer than this tooth. Thin tooth end, thick tooth end. Thick tooth end goes on the arm stump with the cork pointed up. Add the hand. There we go. I'm going to build the right arm separate so I can ship it easier, but you can go ahead and attach it right now. This is what we're starting with. There it is in place. Grab the shoulder armor. Glue it into place. This one shouldn't wiggle like the other arm. Doing another barrel. These 2 pieces, remember, don't clip that cork off. There they are combined. Remember, the bit that doesn't have the cork will have a notch for it. These barrel ends have the same wide tooth, narrow tooth situation going on. This is the narrow side. Narrow tooth. There we go. Wide gap. Wide tooth. Combined. Now this is an awkward fit, but just keep in mind that the cork will be more or less on top. Like so. Go ahead and jam the remaining hand in the other end. And we'll call this good for part 3. The last step is the gremlin on the swing, and it is the hardest and most fiddly part of this build. So I'm going to make sure I have enough time to give it some love and make sure to give you guys good instructions. So I'll see you then. Artefactors Union, Nightmare Whiskey Golem, part 4, the last bit. We're going to be working on the gremlin and the swing, and once we get the swing attached to the hand, we're actually done. Alright, to start off, we're going to grab the body, and then we're going to put this cup on a rope around his neck before we glue on the head. Then we'll glue on the arms, being very, very careful to make sure they are aligned correctly. We'll do the legs next. Then we'll go ahead and glue the rope to the stumps of his arms, the seat underneath him, and finish it up with the bottle that's attached to his lower back. And then obviously put it on the hand and put the fingers over the hand. Here's our little torso. Here's our mug necklace attached. There's no real good way to tell you how to do this. Just make sure that it's flush against the neck, it's sweeping back and up because he's on a swing, and it's mirrored either way, so I can't really tell you if this is upside down or not, but my best guess is that on the right here, this part of the handle of the cup is a bit tighter of an angle than this end, so that's my guess as to what side is up. This is with the head attached. I'll do these next steps relatively quickly so that your cement hasn't cured and you can nudge things into place that they're slightly off angle. Left arm, right arm, left leg, right leg. I think I want to do the seat next, and I'm not entirely sure what way is forward, but looking at the renders, I would want to say that the little ties you see on the end of the board, those aren't completely even. They're a little bit far forward on one side, so I think like this direction is front. Here it is, the hardest step, trying to get this all aligned. Just glue them to the wrist, then adjust the arms so that they're flush, and then plug the ropes into the board. You might need to move the board around, but there is actually connection points on that board for the ropes. You just gotta look real close. Yeah. Nightmare for a reason. Okay, that only took me like 10, 15 minutes almost to just nudge everything into place, but there's the left side and the right side. Front, back, for the hell of it, top down, and bottom up. Do the bottom on his back. The rope will need to go between this part of the palm and the fingers we'll be adding last. You'll basically glue it in like this. Nightmare Whiskey Golem is done. Okay, so lots of tiny pieces. Be very careful clipping them out and handling them. And the guy on the swing is really the hard part of this whole thing. But if you're cautious, take your time. You can do it. I believe in you. And it's a pretty fucking model at the end of the day.